So Heidi Hayward first worked in the new Liskeard Public Library running Storytime Hours. Her career path took a detour when she became an elementary school teacher for a decade, working in Cochrane, Ontario, and with the Hastings Prince Edward District School Board. Heidi was recently drawn back to the library profession and is currently working on a Master's of Information in Library Information Science and Knowledge Media Design at the University of Toronto. The title of her talk is Who Let the Kids In? Children Programming in Academic Libraries.
All right, thank you very much. It's quite a privilege to be here with all these my colleagues here. Really fascinating presentations. I'd like you to think about your academic libraries, kind of picture what you would see going into there. I was sitting in ours today. We had voices coming from the group study rooms, and we had people sitting in there, the lounge chairs, sipping coffee and talking about their assignments. We had people busy tapping away on their computers. Invariably, you'll probably find that one person off in one of the study corrals catching up on their sleep. And we have all these familiar sights. And now I want you to put into your library a colorful carpet somewhere in the corner there. Your academic librarian is sitting on a chair or on the floor if they're comfortable with it, surrounded by preschoolers who are actively engaged in listening to a picture story, and you can hear them all throughout the library space. You can hear them singing, and then they all scamper off behind the library like little ducklings to go on a treasure hunt through the stacks. I could pretty much imagine if I'm one of the students sitting in that place, I would be asking, who let these kids in? And the reason we do that, we don't think about children in our libraries. We have a perception of our academic libraries. You've probably all heard the term, the ivory tower. I was doing some readings and we came across the term, the citadel of knowledge, citadel of learning. It's a fortress where we keep all of this work by the great minds and the scholarly thinkers. And if you want to get to that work, you've got to pass through that all-knowing, ever-shushing librarian at the door with your magic pass. I have one, it has my photo on it, I can get in anytime. But it's a perception. It's really not that scary. But I was speaking with a colleague at the iSchool the other day, and I mentioned I was doing this program, and she went, yeah, the library is really intimidating. And that's not really what we need, because we're not intimidating. We're very open, we're very welcoming, but we have a perception. Community members, if you went out to the community and said, have you been into our library? A lot of them would say, well, no, I don't go to the university. So they don't know that we're there for them. So inviting children and their families into our libraries is a way of opening those doors, letting people in and showing that our ivory tower really is not all that ivory. We open the doors. We're going to have community outreach. We're going to have practical experience for those of us who are in the schools learning at the time. And I think most importantly, we're going to be contributing to the building of lifelong learners. I came across this idea because I never thought of children's in the academic libraries. I even went looking online, not as a researcher, but as a community member to see how many of the universities in Ontario offer children's programming in their library. I came across some different events, Children University lectures, some activities for youth, but I never came across any children's storytime programming for any of the libraries. And if I am wrong, please correct me on that. But as a community member researching, I didn't find it. I came across this idea, though, quite serendipitously while researching the history of children's library. The only example I could find of a successful implementation of this idea, and not only was it successful in its implementation, it's still thriving, was at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, where beginning in 2006, an education library who became an academic library thought, I am going to open our doors and I am going to run library programs for children. Out of the study, the one thing I did pull was this one quote. I don't usually read quotes, but I think the gist here is academic libraries have strong public service skills and are adept at knowledge relationships on campus. We need to bring those skills out to our community, and by doing that, we bring the children in. So for community outreach, we're not just outreaching to the academic community. We can be applying to the daycares. We're working in collaboration with that organization right on our campus. We're bringing in the students and their parents, and we're giving them that connection together. It's not just drop your child off and come to the school. It's actually, this is what mommy or daddy does. Come into my world and let's spend some time together. It's a way of getting some of those parents into your libraries as well. In this digital age, most students do their initial research on the online databases and Google Scholar and that. So why not bring your child in? We will provide them with story times and we will help you with your research. Also, they found that it's an outreach to the outside community. It says, this is who we are. This is what we have to offer. Come on in, check it out. We're going to collaborate with other institutions and organizations throughout the community to offer different programming. We're also offering some experience for LIS and education students. A lot of times, unless you're doing your practicum, you're not getting a lot of experience working with preschool children. In Bachelor of Education, we did. We had 13 weeks of it. Doing my LIS, I have no exposure to preschoolers. And let me tell you, there are a lot of special skills that some of you may know to read to a bunch of 2-, 3-, and 4-year-olds, even just holding the book. So this gives an opportunity. And it also gives an opportunity for volunteers, as Jeremy was telling. It brings them into the library and shows what the library has to offer. Gets them interested in the academic library as well. We can get some more academic librarians on to ask there. Also, it's a chance, if you're planning a program, you're learning firsthand the policies, procedures, and ethics that we have to learn. We get them in class, but it can be really dry, right, when it's always policies, procedures, and ethics. But if you have to think about those little children, you're seeing it in reality. And I want to get to this main point because I feel this is probably the strongest point in bringing children's programming into academic libraries, is we're building lifelong learners. As information service providers and as educators, we know that early literacy development is a key predictor and it plays a critical role in building future lifelong learners, and it has effects into their future, not just academically, but psychologically, financially, socially. So we want to be investing in that. We're investing in our community, we're investing in our learners. We want to also create positive connections to our libraries. I believe it was Maya Angelou who said, people don't remember what you do, they don't remember what you say, but they remember how you feel. That preschooler in your academic programming is probably not going to remember that, oh, I wandered through this stack and I saw all about the Foucauldian theories of everything. They're going to go, we went on a treasure hunt and I found the biggest red book on the shelf. But they have a positive memory of the academic libraries, and that's going to carry on later as they're going through learning. They love of the space, a love of the books, a love of what it has to offer, love of planting the seeds from our seed libraries, a love of seeing our technology, our maker spaces, our 3D printers. And when it comes time for them to choose their schools and to move on, they're going to go, I really loved it there. What a wonderful place. So we're not only just investing in future citizens, we're also investing in future alumni as well. So it's a great way to build that into our programming. So essentially, when you think about preschoolers in your programming, they're loud, they're noisy, they're curious, they ask a lot of questions, they make a big mess. They're probably going to disturb the nice, calm, studious atmosphere. But is it worth it? I think it is, because it does have that community outreach. It does bring lifelong learners, and it does show the community what we as academic libraries have to offer. So that when somebody does walk up to you and goes, who let these kids in? You can proudly say, we did. Thank you.